to the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Menina Fortunato.
Today's guest, she is a 1996 honors graduate of Woodbridge High School in Irvine, California. She was the first student from her school to crack Disney and win the Outstanding Dancer Award for the Disneyland Creative Challenge, a competition open to Orange County students, in 17 years of professional training in both Los Angeles and in New York City. While attending UCLA as a sociology major, she performed as an LA Laker girl for 3 years at the Staples Center. After graduating UCLA in 2000, she continued dancing professionally, teaching and choreography at the Radio City Music Hall, Rockette, for 12 years, performing the Christmas Spectacular. She was also a Rockette swing, memorizing all 36 Rockette dance tracks for 7 of those years. That's major. A lot of other amazing credits she's had is The Producers, the movie musical, directed and choreographed by Suzanne Stroman, and Dancing with Matthew Broderick, the Academy Awards, choreographed by Kenny Ortega, and Dancing with the late Robin Williams. The MTV VMAs, performing with Panic at the Disco, MTV Movie Awards, choreographed by Marguerite Derricks, and Dancing with Mike Myers, and the film Beautiful, directed by Sally Field. She's done a ton of commercials, anything from Sears, Macy's, CBS, Westfield Shopping Town Center. She's also done live shows at Disney El Capitan Theater in Hollywood and Hyperion Theater at Disney's California Adventure. She's been on the Today Show, the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, working with Marcus Stewart, Regis and Kelly, Suddenly Susan with Brooke Shields, Mad TV. And she did a performance at the White House for President Obama and the First Lady. She has developed her famous fusion exercise fitness method and has trained celebrities, including Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Karlie Kloss, and many others. She was also featured in Shape magazine. She's choreographed for numerous live shows and live productions in New York City's for Jewish artists Bracha Chafe and Deborah Schwartz. She was the head choreographer for Camp Mayor for 8 years and recently taught at the prestigious Fame School, LaGuardia High School, and Manhattan High School in Manhattan as a head choreographer and PE department instructor. And she was given the honor of choreographing and creating the new precision dance show Sun Kicks Holiday Spectacular, premiering in Tampa, Florida. And she recently choreographed for the Rockette Alumni Association in Talent is Timeless, performing off-Broadway at the United Palace Theater in New York City. She's also a professional dance coach. She's honored to mention that 75 of her students have become Radio City Rockettes and have been featured on the New York's Pix 11 News. And this is her 32nd year as a dance educator. And she's also a mom and a wife. I'm a mom of 3 kids like me. Please help me welcome Miss Rhonda Malkin. Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Menina.
So let's start at the beginning, like beginning. Like Rhonda, the little kid, Rhonda. Well, first of all, when did you start dancing and what did that look like? Were you a comp kid like many of these dancers were? How did the early years begin for you?
I started dancing when I was 4, taking one ballet class a week. And when I was 6, took ballet and tap because I was able to add tap at my studio. Then when I was 8, I was able to add jazz. So then I was taking ballet, tap, and jazz. And then when I was 10, I was able to audition at my studio for the competition group. And I was the youngest member of the group at that time. So I stayed with that competition studio all the way through my senior year of high school. I trained at the same studio.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's rare. And then after high school, there was a UCLA period. And sociology, how did that all happen? Explain that transition.
I know. So I very grateful that I was able to get into UCLA, which is one of the most prestigious public schools in the US. And I decided to change to sociology because I quickly realized that in their dance program, which is actually technically world arts and cultures, there weren't so many actual dancers in that program, like people who really enjoy dance and were what I sometimes call book dancers. They like to study it, but not actually do it and do it really well. So I didn't feel like I was being challenged enough. I did take some wonderful classes there, but I just quickly realized my peers were not exactly who I wanted to be surrounding myself with in order to, improve and get to the point where I needed to get to as a professional commercial dancer. So I was grateful that I was in Los Angeles.
Why sociology? What was the intent behind that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've always been an academic. I was an honors and an AP student in high school. And I just wanted to pursue something that was like a little bit more academic in case I just didn't, pursue dance and succeed. I was sort of in between.
You never went to the plan B, it sounds like.
I didn't. And at one point, just fast forward, I did want to go get my MBA. But then after I talked to people at Radio City, because I wanted to work like behind the curtain, on the other side of the curtain, the people at Radio City said, Rhonda, you don't need your MBA. Like, you know enough about business, you know enough about dance, a lot about precision that you just don't need to spend the money or the time. So I'm so grateful for those people for that wonderful advice, because I would have wasted my money and my time in the sense that I would have been able to progress to where I am today. So yeah, sociology was just so much fun. I learned about race, class, and gender. Lots of really good things, and did some really interesting projects and papers. Just wanted to sort of pursue that academic side. And I did want to get my degree. I just knew I didn't want to get it in dance because it just wasn't going to help me. So that's where I decided to go.
Okay. You were a Laker girl for 3 years. Is that
yes.
While at UCLA at the same time?
Yes, I definitely. It was a lot. So I auditioned first for the Laker Girls when I was 18 because I had just moved up to Los Angeles, and I said, oh my gosh, this is my dream. Paula Abdul, she was always like someone who I admired. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go for it. So I went and auditioned right after I graduated from high school, but I didn't get it. I made the first cut, and then I got cut after that. So I said, I'll go back next year just for fun. And meanwhile, I auditioned for the UCLA Dance Team, which is like the Pomp Squad, cheer, but it's more dancey. And I made that team, and I was really, really excited. And once I was on that team, I decided, you know what, let me just go audition for the Laker Girls again, because I'm already on a team. So if I get cut again, it doesn't matter. Like, I already have a squad to be a part of for this year. And I made it. So I was on 2 teams.
Oh, you did both?
Yeah, when I was 19 years old.
How did the schedules not conflict?
Well, it's a great question, Menina. So actually, the director of the Laker Girls asked me that at my interview, because you always have to interview after you get past a certain round. So she said to me, Rhonda, like, how is this going to work scheduling wise? And the internet had just, it just started in 97. And so I surfed the internet and I looked at the game schedules, and they were exactly opposite all of the college games because of the network. Because Fox Sports News or Fox Sports Net, they had to cover all the games for UCLA and the Lakers and the Clippers at that time, NBA. So everything worked out. So I said, well, your rehearsals are on Monday and Wednesday. UCLA Dance Team rehearsals are on Tuesday and Thursday. Your games are on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And UCLA games are on Thursdays and Saturdays. So there's no conflict.
Wow.
So that's how I could do it.
I'm surprised you just didn't drop the school dance and be like, I'll just do Lakers instead. You did both, and you managed your schooling on top of them?
Yeah, it was a lot. Here's the thing is that I didn't want to drop the Laker Girls. There was no way. I mean, I would be dumb if I could do that, but for the UCLA team, I had always wanted to dance for my college, and I was a cheerleader in high school. I was a varsity cheerleader. I was a song leader. I choreographed for the team, and that was just a goal that, I wanted to check that box. So I did.
Well, good for you, Miss Overachiever. Getting a degree, 2 dance teams. Literally, it sounds like every day you had something. Like, there was no day off for you. If that's a day off of dance team, I'm sure it was just like a homework homework day for school. And I got balloons that just appeared, but ignore that.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, obviously I had my friends on the team and I had some friends at school, but I didn't really go to parties much my sophomore year. I didn't really hang out a lot. If I wasn't in class or studying, I was in rehearsal or performing at a game or at a charity event or a paid event. So my days were packed. And yes, I did have to turn down certain events, like when the football team made it to the Cotton Bowl in Texas, I actually had the opportunity to still work with the Lakers during that same week. And I chose to stay in LA. I didn't go to Texas.
Gotcha.
Because the Lakers had games.
So you obviously a very busy 4 years of college / dance team and dance team. What happened after that? What was the big step after graduation and what did you end up doing?
Yes. So once I had graduated with my sociology degree, I just decided to go full force for dancing. And I'll take one step back. I appreciate this. This is great, Menina. I love this. My senior year of UCLA at college, I actually booked 5 jobs in a row. And that like never happens. Like you go to the audition, you book it, you go to the audition, like that almost never happens. So I said, like, this is a sign from God that I am meant to dance. I am meant to just work and be a professional. So I felt really confident after I graduated that I had a full resume of work because I was in the Los Angeles area. So I just decided I'm just going to go full force for the next year or so and just audition as much as I possibly can, go to every single audition and not say no. And that's what I did.
Do you have an agent during this period? Or
Yes, I did. Yes. So actually, you had Lucille DeCampley on several times. Like, I so appreciate you. I love all of these, Menina. This is like so awesome for me because I watched the one that you had with Lucille DeCampley, who was my very first agent and my last agent, which is interesting. So,
wow.
With Bobby Ball. So she was with Bobby Ball and she signed me the week after I turned 18. And that was, I know, I was at Tremaine Dance Center. Did you ever take a Tremaine's?
I never went to Tremaine. They were shut down by the time I got to LA, but I knew all about it. I heard all about it. But yes, they were one of these studios. I went to Edge and Millennium.
Yes.
And Debbie Reynolds. Those were my studios.
Absolutely. Yes, of course. So familiar with all of them and so sad that now Millennium is, I think, the only one that's still left. But Tremaine used to have his studio and it was amazing. And I won the scholarship at the Tremaine convention for the month to train there. And that was unbelievable. So that was the week that Bobby Ball or Lucille DeCampley, who was the agent there, came to watch Michael Rooney's class. And that's when I got signed. But back up, kids. Listen up. That was the 3rd time that I auditioned for Lucille. So I had auditioned for Bobby Ball 2 other times. And the 3rd time was when I got it.
3rd luck's a charm for you on that one. Okay.
Yes. Good. And it took me a year and a half to actually book an agent.
Okay. Dancers, you hear that? First time doesn't always happen. And it's so true. Actually, we've had a few mentees that they've submitted a couple times and it wasn't until the 2nd or the 3rd time that it actually stuck. So it doesn't always happen for everybody on the first try. And that is an important lesson. But kudos to you though, my gosh, you had a full plate of academics plus 2 permanent dance commitments, plus you were doing industry gigs at the same time. So I don't want to hear anybody talking about time management issues around here about being too busy because clearly it can be done. And you're not the first dancer, actually, ironically, from UCLA. I don't know I think she's younger than you. Shelby Rabara. She was a Laker girl and also a UCLA student that also pursued dance and acting and all that later. But it can be done because I think there's this idea that you got to pause your dance career during those the academia years. And clearly you didn't. If anything, that was your launch pad to get the momentum going so that by the time you did graduate, you had an agent, you already had a resume, you already had experience, and you had the degree. So that transition, I'm assuming, was a lot smoother than most dancers.
I would say yes. I mean, it's always scary. Like when you transition from something that's stable, like school, to something that's completely not stable, which is the entertainment industry. It was very scary, but I'm so, so grateful to have had that time to I had that cushion, you know what I mean? Like people would ask me like, oh, what do you do? And I would say, I'm a college student. I would always just say I'm a college student. I would never say I was a professional dancer unless people like really like got into me. And I'm like, okay, I'm a Laker girl. And then people are like, oh my gosh, they're a Laker girl. They're winning the championship. It's so cool. That's sort of how I guess you could say I had a nest like to just fall on. That was like my launching pad, but also like my nest. Like I had somewhere that I could feel solid. But it does get scary. So, there was a time where I think I went to maybe 15 or 20 auditions. I can't even remember, but I went to like 15 auditions in a row, Menina, and I didn't book anything. Mm-hmm. And I really started to doubt myself. And I remember getting into my car and like almost crying after an audition because I thought I did so well and I was cut. And I looked at these other people who they kept and I was like, how do they keep them? Like, they weren't good at all. I just didn't get it. So then the next audition I went to, I pulled up to, did you ever go to More Landis Studio?
Yes, before it was Millennium. Yes.
So More Landis Studio, I pulled up and I was in my car and I just said to myself, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get this job. I am going to do everything I can to get this job. And my agent at the time said, dress, crazy, sexy, cool. Did you ever get that one?
No, it's always sexy, body conscious. That's what's always, I'm like, what does that mean? Like,
same, right? It's like, yeah, body conscious, sexy, cute, whatever.
Yes.
So I dressed what I thought was crazy, sexy, cool. I walk in, hey, I'm here for the audition for, I'll tell you in a second. And they said, oh, we're looking for athletic. Like they looked at me and they were like, what are you wearing? So I kept my clothes on. I didn't even I had like a t-shirt and some like sweatpants over my crazy, sexy, cool outfit. And I put them back on. And that's how I auditioned. And I got the job.
And that's when you booked.
And I booked the job. Yes. With, I can't even remember her name because it's been so long. But, when she asked me, she's like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from here. And she's like, we've never seen you before. I'm like, well, I'm here now. I'm here now is right. So yeah, it was amazing. I sort of had imposter syndrome. I kind of didn't feel like I belonged there because I had just not booked anything before that. Then I realized, you know what? Like they hired you, Rhonda, do your job. Just focus, smile, and do your job. And so I did.
What did you learn through that phase of rejection? Like you even said something really, I think, prevalent for dancers to understand is sometimes you look in the room and you're like, but they weren't even that good. Why did they keep them? And why did they cut me? What reality checks did you have from that experience? What did you learn?
Oh, well, I learned many things such as sometimes they're looking for a type and you can't control that, right? I'm a tall Caucasian female. Okay. So if they are not looking for tall Caucasian females, it doesn't matter how good you are. They're looking for a certain other type of dancer. There are times that I just sort of said to myself, I'm just going to dance the best that I can dance. I can only control what I can control, which is my attitude, my performance, show them that I am so passionate about performing, how much I love being at auditions. I loved auditions. Of course, they're scary. But I just loved having that opportunity. Like, oh my gosh, I get to call myself a professional dancer. This is the coolest thing ever. Just to even be there, to be in the room. What a blessing to have a healthy body and a healthy mind that you could think on your feet fast and learn choreography fast. Think about how many people in this world only wish that they had that opportunity and never will because they just don't have that capability for one reason or another. So with the rejection, I just said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to do my best. And I realized that there are times that you'll go for a job and maybe you're not what they're looking for right now, but maybe there's another job around the corner that you are right for. And they will call you and they will say, you know what, Rhonda, we have another job and it actually works next month. So can you come back to the audition next month? Absolutely. Yes, I will be there. Right. And then you show up, looking your best and doing your best. And then hopefully you book it because they remember you. But That's sort of what I gather from it. With training my dancers, of course, I'll just fast forward into that. A lot of my dancers, believe it or not, just by showing up and doing their absolute best, made such an impression on directors and choreographers that sometimes, yes, they would get called for another callback, such as my student who is working Beauty and the Beast in Orlando, Florida. Okay. So she went in for what she thought was the Magic Castle show for Christmas. And they said to all these gals, like, okay, all you guys come back tomorrow for an audition. And then they pointed to her, and you come back on Wednesday. And she's like, what? Because they had Beauty and the Beast in mind for her. Okay. And she booked it. And so, right. And she didn't know that, but they didn't say anything.
Yeah, it's so true. I can't tell you how many opportunities where you go in and you're just not right for that. And then, but they still like you. There's nothing wrong with you. And then there is an opportunity that comes months or even years later that they're like, I remember you. You were really awesome, but you were not right for that job, but you're right for this one. So yes, that rejection doesn't mean a no. Sometimes it's just a not yet.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. You got over the hump. Obviously, you didn't quit dance even after all that rejection. Let's talk about some of the highlights of your career in LA, because at some point in your life, you moved to New York. So let's
yes,
we're still in LA here. What's some of the highlights of your LA life? Or any cool stories you want to share before we get to New York? We'll get to New York in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, working commercially was super exciting. I know you did lots of commercial work. And we actually worked together on the Jerry Lewis Telethon.
And we didn't figure that out until like a couple of years ago.
I know. It was so great. I'm like, there's
they're like, I did that. And I'm like, I did that job. But there were so many girls on that job. And, and it was so long ago too. But yeah, we did.
Our favorite son.
Thank you very much. And all that crazy tap with the head and the hand coordination.
Yes. It was so fun. Yeah, totally. Oh yeah. So much fun, but lots of commercial work. I shot a Sears commercial with Marguerite Derricks. And that was wild as well. I was on my way driving, of course, on the freeway to go teach. And Bobby Ball called and said, we have an audition for you and it's in 3 hours. Can you get there? And I was like, I'm supposed to be teaching. What's it for? They're like, national Sears commercial. I was like, I'll be there. So I called the studio. I said, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry I cannot make it. I have an audition for a national commercial. They really want to see me. I showed up, my best self, and they said, yeah, that's great. Can you come back tomorrow? Absolutely. Went back tomorrow. And some people had been seen like 5 times. You know, like some commercials, like you have to call back. This was only my second time. And I booked the job with Marguerite. And I think I worked 2 days and made like $20,000.
Yeah.
2 days of work.
Commercials don't pay like that anymore. I think we were the generation, like I made $35,000 with Pepsi for 10 days.
Yeah.
And that commercial ran for like a year and a half and it was Super Bowl. But
so cool.
Commercials now, like you're lucky if they air for like a week and they're already on to the next. But we also didn't have brand deals in our generation. This generation are making $100,000 sometimes for one post for a brand. So it's like commercials. The money of commercials switched from traditional commercial to brand deals with influencers, which again, we didn't have to have followings back then.
No, it's really different. And people tell me now to get into certain auditions in LA, you have to have so many followers.
Yep. I remember that first time in 2010 was the first one. You're like, you need 10,000 followers to get in a commercial audition. I was like, what? I'm like, your headshot and resume is not enough.
Right. Exactly. So that was wild to me. Shooting some movies. So I shot Beautiful. And that was also a ton of dancers. So much fun to be on a movie set for a week again and shoot. I danced on the Academy Awards. And that was, again, with Robin Williams. Yeah, Kenny Ortega. So cool. Yes.
If you don't know who that is, look him up. He's, I don't know, kind of done a few things like Michael Jackson, This Is It tour. Help me
Dirty
out.
Dancing.
Descendants movie directed. He just did a Lego movie in London this past summer. Actually just saw him 2 weeks ago at Gala of the Stars. But yeah,
amazing.
And dance. So Marguerite Derricks is another one, dancers. You need to look her up. She's choreographed like every movie on the planet. Okay, cool. It's Marguerite Derricks, Kenny Ortega, Oscars, TV. Mad TV with Moni Adamson, right?
That's my mentor. Yes, Moni Adamson. Yes.
Hold on. Are you an Irvine Dance Academy kid?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I used to guest teach this.
I'm sure you did right after I left.
I guest taught in 2001 to 2003, 4, maybe. I was back. It was when Bobby Amamizu was a comp kid.
And he is my student. Yes.
Wow. Oh,
right.
You have more overlap than I didn't know.
I know. So Moni trained me from the time I was 6 until I was like 18 years old.
Moni, I haven't seen her in years.
She's the best. She is the best. And I owe her everything. So proud of Bobby. So I trained Bobby when he was 6 to through a little bit before high school because we had a bit of a gap. But I was at UCLA and then I went on and then was doing New York stuff. So right when his heyday was, I was already in New York.
But Marguerite's like right hand he just did the ballet
as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess, but we never worked together on the same Mad TV because I did 6 seasons off and on. She brought me back like once a season. It seemed like.
Yes, she loves you. By the way, she absolutely loves you, and she would always talk about you. Menina is so great, and her family's so great, and the competition is so great, and we just love everything about it. And they're just so quality, and they're just so nice, and they're so professional. She just would go on and on and on. So,
I love that. Does she still have Focus Dance Center?
She sure does.
Good for her. Well, I got it. Now I have an excuse. I need to go reach out. I haven't seen her in years, since Mad TV, really. Whenever.
Wow.
So it's been well over a decade, I think, if not more even. All right, moving on. So what happened? What got you to New York? The Rockettes. The Rockettes, that's a big chunk of your career. So let's get to that. How did happen?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that journey.
When I was dancing for Disney's California Adventure Park at the Hyperion Theater, I was dancing 5 shows a day. And I had auditioned for the Rockettes the year before, but I got cut. But I said to myself, this is so hard. It only looks so easy. And I said, I'm going to book this job, but I know I have to prepare more. So while I was dancing at Disney, I was training myself. I was doing my eye high kicks. I was running up and down the mezzanine stairs, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, like in between shows, kicking my own butt, literally, and dancing 5 shows a day. And I actually worked with another gal who was a Rockette, and she was in the Disney cast with me, and she helped me a little bit with kicks, but that was kind of it. And I just practiced everything that I had learned at the audition the year before. And how did I even get into the Rockettes? Well, when I danced on the Academy Awards with Kenny Ortega choreographing, it was like a Rockette line, and there were a bunch of gals who were in the company, and they said, Rhonda, you'd be a great Rockette. And I said, oh, really? Like, when's the audition? They're like, it's next week. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, not even thinking anything about it. So when I went, I just was completely blown away at how hard it was. And that's why I decided to train myself while I was at Disney. And that was in 2001. So I got the phone call after my second year of auditioning in 2001 that I booked the Rockettes national tour. So there were a lot of different casts that were on the tour. And I was first going to go to New York and rehearse in New York for a brand new version of the tour, and then go to Atlanta and then Cleveland to perform. So this was July of 2001. So I gave my notice and pieced out of Disney September 1st, 2001. And then September 11th happened.
I was going to say September 11th, days later.
And and I was so scared. I mean, I'm sure you remember being there.
I was in Vancouver the day it happened. I was actually supposed to fly to LA later that day. And my flight got canceled for obvious reasons. So were you in New York?
No, I was still in LA. Okay. So I had just given notice. I was just like trying to train it myself, do Pilates, take dance classes, just get in the best shape I could. And then the 11th happened, and then I was freaked out. And I said to my mom, like, I don't want to go to New York. Like, this is really scary. And she's like, you're going to get on that plane. You're going to do that contract. You know, we're going to watch you. It's going to be great. And I flew to New York 2 weeks after the 11th. I was not actually, I was hired by the company, but I had never been a Rockette before. And it was super special because Madison Square Garden, that owns Radio City and the Rockettes, they did a really special event where they had signed jerseys from the Knicks and the Rangers and the Liberty. And we, representing the Rockettes, went to all the different firehouses and police stations around New York City and delivered those jerseys to the firemen and policemen who had lost so many different servicemen, like in their different stations. And it was so emotional, just to see those people. It was still fresh. Those wounds were still fresh. And then to see how much gratitude we had for their efforts and whatnot, and how much we honored them. So that I did before I even became a Rockette. And then I started rehearsal the next week and rehearsed in New York for over a month. And then we teched the show actually up at West Point, which was so random. Like they just needed a random theater. And that tech was 2 weeks. And then we bussed down to Atlanta to perform the shows. And we were almost 98% sold out because everyone wanted to support New York. And we broke all box office records that Christmas, both in Atlanta and at the State Theater in Cleveland. And it was really, really special. It was such a hard contract, but man, like we just felt so much pride just representing New York and being in these other communities outside. So, and bringing Christmas joy to everyone, because it was really a tough year.
Yeah, well, it was a tough year for everybody, but the industry specifically, like you were lucky you actually had work during that time, because the industry had shut down significantly for it was dry for months. So the fact that you guys had shows and sold out shows during a time like that, it sounded like it was a blessing in disguise. At the time, you may not have seen it that way, but what a beautiful, positive aftermath of what had happened.
Absolutely. But this also goes to show, Menina, that even when you're in a contract, so the Disney contract was a really great, solid contract. We were dancing 5 shows a day. I was 4 days a week. And a lot of the dancers in that contract were like, yeah, this show's going to run forever. We're never going to have to, if you want to audition, great. If not, whatever. They were kind of like taking that back seat. And I was not taking that back seat. I said, I know that there's more out there that I want to do, and I just want to go for everything. And it wasn't that I didn't like it. I did enjoy it a lot, but I just wanted to do more.
Why not?
Yes. So believe it or not, the month before I auditioned again for the Rockettes, I auditioned for Madonna's Drowned World Tour. Did you ever audition for that in 2000?
Audition for Madonna. I'm trying to, who was
one?
Was Jamie King creative director?
Yes, Jamie King, and then Alex Magno. That's right. Yeah,
I never auditioned for that. I don't know where I was. Okay. What year?
2001. It was 2001. So that was about April. I want to say it was April 2001.
Oh, I didn't live in LA yet. That's why.
Okay.
I moved in July.
Okay. Oh, So long story was, I went to the audition because, again, here's an amazing opportunity. And I got to the final callback. Oh. There were 40 of basically LA's top dancers in that room. You could probably name them all. And I looked around that room. I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I am in this room right now. I just was so honored to be there with all of those incredibly talented artists. I felt like I won. Even if I didn't book the job, I felt I already won. So it turned out that Madonna only kept 5 dancers, and they were all ethnic. And I was so happy because if she had picked a tall white girl and not me, then I would have been a little sad. Let's be honest. But, but there were 5.
It had nothing to do with your looks, but it had everything to do with it had nothing to do with your dancing, but it had everything to do with your looks. You weren't the type. Madonna likes extreme looks. That's just her vibe. The traditional girl next door, brunette, blonde, is boring for her. She likes, punk rock, shaved heads, tatted up, piercings. Like that was the look. That was the look.
And every single dancer had to shave their head or have a mohawk. So yes. So my Laker girl sister, Addie Young Me. So she booked the job and I'm so proud of her. Yes.
Love
So
that.
she had it.
shaved her head. And was that Carrie Ann Inaba's tour as well?
I don't know, but possibly.
She shaved her head too. I don't remember if that was that tour or the one before.
I can't remember, but possibly she came in at some point. Who knows, right? Because she only had 5 female dancers. So maybe Carrie Ann replaced someone. But it was like, oh, wow. This is incredible, just to have that experience and to dance in front of Madonna, right? She was at that final callback. I was like, okay, cool. So then the next month I went to the Rockette audition with people who I was so scared of the year before. And I'm like, oh, I'm good.
You're like, I did Madonna. This is nothing.
This is nothing. So that's another reason, dancers, that you just go to every audition because you just never know. And that gave me so much confidence to walk into that room the second time in the same, for the same director and be like, I got this. I can do this. Because they really do put the pressure on you because they have to. They have to see if you can take that pressure. And the more pressure you put on yourself by just going to those auditions and showing up, it'll build your experience, right? And you gain something from every audition you go to.
Yeah, you keep doing hard things, keep facing your fears, and those hard things aren't so hard anymore because you just get used to it. All right, so let's fast forward a little. So Rockettes, 12 years, is that right?
12 years as a Rockette, three on the tour, right? 3 years on the tour, and then that's 9 years in New York. And I was a swing for 7 of those 9 years,
and
which was
32 tracks,
36 tracks,
36 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
On the show, let alone all the different tracks. That's a lot for the brain. Good for you.
It's a lot. And I didn't actually ask to be a swing. They asked me. So usually you have to write a letter saying, I'm interested in this, position because they know how stressful it is. And you have to really be like mentally prepared. Okay, I'm going to learn a lot of material and I have to be perfect.
Well, speaking of perfection, even though it doesn't exist, a precision dance, which essentially is what the Rockettes do and what you specialize in now, what makes precision dance and just the work of a Rockette very distinct and different from anything you've ever done?
Everything in precision is black or white. So it's more like ballet, right? Like there's a right way to do ballet and a wrong way, obviously. And when someone is a really strong ballerina, because you can just see that they have the placement, they have the posture, they have the confidence, they have the technique, the turnout, the whatever, all the things, that they have really trained hard. Yes. So for precision, it's very similar where you have to see something and make sure that you are matching every single detail in every single line and the amount of attack and energy that you put into executing everything has to be the same. That's part 1. Part 2 is the spacing. So we create a whole grid on the stage. So a lot of, let's just say, stage performances have a number line where 0 is in the center and then like 2, 4, 6, 8, all the way out to the edge of the stage, right? So we not only have the number line, but we also have depth lines. So we have the blue line, the white line, the red line, and the green line. We also have dotted lines in between. So not only do you have to know all the specific details of the choreography itself and the technique, but you have to know how to execute it on the correct amount of space. So if they say this is a 3-number travel or a 2-number travel or a 10-number travel, right? Like you have to really watch with your eyes and be super aware of everything around you. So it's really challenging. But I say that if I didn't dance for the NBA, if I wasn't a Laker girl, I don't think I ever would have been a Rockette because for the Lakers, we created a checkerboard, essentially, of the court. So we didn't have numbers and depths, but we had boxes, right? So you're either dancing in the box or you're splitting a line or you're on the line, that sort of thing. And other NBA teams have, like, they call it cracks and spaces, different things, same idea. But you just have to be aware of where on the stage or on the court you are. That was very important and very hard. So what can I tell you? You just have to practice a lot and just be super hyper vigilant of your spatial awareness. So that's the hardest part, I think, for precision. Different than contemporary, you must count. And this is one thing. Yeah, I know these dancers probably watching like, oh man, as an educator now who's trained 75 Rockettes, I think it's a world record. So many dancers come to me with this wonderful contemporary background and they're gorgeous dancers and they can do all sorts of really cool, flexibility things and tricks and turns but they don't know how to count and they don't know how to stay consistent with their movement on the count, on the beat. So that's something that I teach a lot of students who come to me who want to achieve that goal of being a Rockette. And you also have to tap. So jazz dance, ballet, tap, and then kick line. And the kicks for me were the hardest, actually. Even though I'd been on cheerleading squads and obviously professional NBA teams, I had never done an eye-high kick the way that the Rockettes do their eye-high kicks. It is so challenging. It is so fast. And just to compare it, I'm sure a lot of the dancers have seen the America's Sweethearts, right? Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, thumbs up. Yep. So I was on season 2 a little bit, long story. But I have a student, Alora Rose, who was a Rockette, and then she became a DCC during COVID. And I asked her after her DCC experience, what kick is harder, the eye-high kick or the super high NFL kick? And she goes, oh, that eye-high kick, that is so much harder because of the control factor.
I was going to say, what makes it harder? Because I mean, you're having to kick, I assume, to the eye line and not higher and not lower. Is that?
Yeah. Essentially, you aim right in between your eyebrows. Yeah.
That's where you want to kick, right here.
Yep. And you have to be able to do it without touching the person next to you. So DCC and other teams,
they lean on the others. Okay.
Yeah, it's so hard. So that's what I teach all of my dancers is how to hold their core, hold their center, use their back muscles, and stay right in one spot while they kick from their core, using their hamstrings and not gripping from quads or gripping from their hip flexors.
Amazing. Now, clearly you had a beautiful career as a Rockette, and now you're teaching and mentoring dancers to become Rockettes or similar types of dance jobs. Tell us what you are doing currently right now, your company now.
Yes. So I have a lot of different facets to my fusion exercise program, and some of it's fusion dance, and then some of it's exercise. So I have private coaching, which is predominantly what I do. I teach about 30 to 35 private sessions a week. And that is one-on-one. And we focus on whatever the dancer needs to work on the most. So it's different than a group class. Most people want to go for Rockettes. Some people want to go for Broadway. Some people want to go for NFL, NBA. So I just tailor every session to the dancer. Then we have group classes. So I've got my Fusion Heels class. The Fusion Heels class is exercise, dance technique-based exercise in character heels. And the reason I came up with this was because in 2017, I had 7 dancers book the Rockette. Yay! But then in 2018, I only had 1. And I was upset with myself. So I said, we need to get stronger. I'm a celebrity trainer. I know how to get you guys stronger, but we got to do it in the heels. So that class happens twice a week. By the way, these are all on Zoom. So no matter where you are in the world, you could take this class. And I do have people all over the world taking the classes. Then I have my workshops. So you see my summer performance workshop. So this is a replacement for the Rockette Summer Intensive. So the Rockettes used to give a week-long workshop that was accumulated in a performance at the end of the week. And then they stopped it. And I don't know exactly why. They don't have it anymore. I said,
I brought some kids to it was like a one-day workshop. I don't think it was a summer thing. Do they
correct?
So, or is that no longer a thing either?
Correct. They do have the one-day Rockette experience, and that's just like a 4-hour class at Radio City Music Hall with a current Rockette. So what I do for my summer performance workshop, I now have one in New York City and then now one in Las Vegas, which I'm super excited about. We're just starting Las Vegas. And it's for dancers ages 13 to 17 for the young dancers. And then the pre-professionals, I have several groups, 18 and over. So that is a performance you learn a precision jazz, a precision tap, and a soldier march routines, 3 different combos. And then you perform it. and it's professionally videoed and photographed and a great experience to learn like exactly the way that the Rockettes actually perform. So that's that. And then I have my audition workshops. So I have my December one is coming up very soon. The December audition workshop is for pre-professionals and professionals 18 and over. And then I also have the young dancers 13 to 17. And it is also in New York City and on Zoom. So if you can't make it to New York for any reason, you could also take the workshop on Zoom.
Well, there you have it, kids. If Rockette's something you want to do, this is the lady who trains them. Definitely not my area of expertise. All right. So this is why we're going to open it up for Q&A. So without further ado, let's bring up Raylyn.
Hi, I'm Raylyn. And my question for you is like, how long do you do the Rockette audition for? Like, what is it? Like, how do you do it?
What it entails? Like, what did an audition look like?
Okay. Great question. So the Rockette audition now is a 3-day process.
Wow.
Yes. The first day, which is usually a Tuesday, is an open call. And approximately 1,000 dancers, give or take, attend this audition. They only make one cut. It's jazz. Then if you get to the callback the next day, there's usually about 200 or so that make it to the next day. Then you sometimes will review that jazz piece, and then you'll learn another jazz piece. And then you'll learn like a ballet jazz precision piece. And then you'll learn a tap piece. And then you'll learn a kick line. And they make cuts throughout the day. If you make it to day 3, they expect you to practice every single piece of choreography that you learn on day 2, and they add on more. And sometimes they will teach you yet another jazz piece. And then they will usually cut down to about anywhere between 60 to 65 dancers. From there, they send out invitations to their Rockette's preparatory program, fundamentals program, and conservatory programs. From there, there's another audition in August that's invite only. And if you are very blessed to get invited to that August audition, then you will be considered for the Rockette, but no guarantees.
And then usually how many dancers do they cast? I mean, I'm sure it changes every year, but give or take, how many new dancers do they usually rotate in and out?
Every year is different. This year they hired 10, and I had 3 of those 10, which I was really proud of. So very exciting. The year before that, they hired 17, and I had 8 from the 17, which was really exciting. Yes. The year before that, they hired 22. So it just depends on the year.
Well, I mean, that's still not very many dancers when you consider 1,000 dancers are auditioning. I mean, your chances are very slim.
Right. It's like 1%. I always say it's harder to get into the Rockettes than it is to get into Princeton, MIT, and Harvard. And all those who are applying for colleges know what that means, because all those schools have to take an incoming freshman class. The Rockettes do not. Usually they do take about 10 or so, 10 to 15, but it just depends on the year.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Raylyn. All right. Next up, we have Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby. My question is, in an audition where dancers are being casted for and chosen for a project, what makes someone stand out? I know that adaptability and professionalism and creativity can all be certain things, but I was wondering if there's one overall that you think stands out, or if it depends on the person that you're auditioning for.
It's something that depends on the project, but something I could say, like when I give my professional audition workshops, and we always have a mock audition the last day, I think one thing that helps a dancer to stand out is just showing how much they love to dance and how much, and I know it sounds so cliche, but when you see a dancer out there who's just like, I just love this. I love being here without saying it. They say that with their body, with their energy, and even the way that you respond if you're asked a question, that matters. You know, having an open heart and like, you know, being happy and light and focused, that all matters.
I love that. Thank you so much, Abby. Next up, we have little Sophia.
Sophia, and my question is, in general, whenever you got like discouraged, how did you build up your courage to keep going till you made it?
Aw, that's great. I just said, I just have to keep trying. I just have to keep trying. I think that's how I've had so much success just in general with anything in dance. I just did not stop. And I would also sort of analyze, okay, I think I could have been stronger, or I think I could have stretched more and I could have been a little more flexible, or I think I could have just like had more fun. I was so nervous. Yeah. So I would just like sit back, analyze, and then I would say, you know what? This one wasn't for me. God has other plans for me, and that's it. So just move on to the next one, right?
I love that. Thank you so much, Sophia. All right. Next up, we have Skylar. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi, my name is Skylar Caldwell, and I'm 13 years old, and I'm from Sarasota, Florida. And my question is, what would be like a question that normally people don't ask, but you wish more people would ask you?
Ooh, a question that people don't ask, but I wish they would ask me more of. Ooh, that's like, are you saying just in general, like for dance or for
just
other
like
things?
Question, like anything.
Oh, here's a good one. Like when I come into class and I'm kind of rushing, because I kind of always am rushing when I get into class. Miss Rhonda, can I help you get set up? Yeah, I could use some help. Yeah, because I got to set up the Zoom, and I got to set my mic, and I got to set up my TheraBands, and I got to set up my music. Yeah, I would love some help. Then just schmoozing with your friends or looking with your face in your phone. Yeah, Miss Rhonda, can I help you set up? That's something you could probably ask any of your teachers, and I'm sure that they would be happy, right? Even if it's, yes, will you sweep the floor because the floor is dirty? Yes, ma'am, I would love to sweep the floor. Where's the broom?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, how many dancers have ever done that one?
Listen, at my studio at Irvine Dance Academy, there were times, that floor was dirty, man. And I did not want to lay on that dirty floor. And I would say, Miss Moni, can I sweep the floor? Absolutely, Rhonda, let's go. All right. But you know what? It made the whole experience better for everyone because I helped out and I pitched in.
Yeah, that's a nice initiative. All right. Thank you so much, Skylar. Next up, we have Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela Moy. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Virginia. My question is, as a dancer who would love to audition for the Rockettes when she's old enough, do you have like any advice on like how to like present yourself and like how to wear your hair?
Of course.
Audition attire. Talk about that.
Yes. So for Broadway and for the Rockette specifically, you definitely want to wear form-fitting clothing. A lot of people wear a bright leotard, and I recommend black tights over it. And some people like to wear the black can boots, but I actually recommend the LaDuca Alexis style shoe. It's a 2.5-inch character heel in whatever color your skin tone is. And I always recommend the stirrup tight. So you would wear a bright color leotard, black stirrup tights over the leotard, and tan Alexis shoes or boots if you have those. You also want to bring your heel tap shoes. So if you want to get the Roxy LaDuca tap shoe, that's great. Or a Capezio 2.5-inch tan tap shoe is also fine. To wear your hair, some people like to wear it in a French twist. That's how the Rockettes wear it for all their performances and appearances. For the most part, some of the Instagram, they wear a ponytail. I wore a ponytail for my audition and it was fine. But just anything that you feel helps you stay confident and your face is very open. Your hair is not in your face, if that makes sense. Now, I wouldn't say that if you're auditioning for like anything in LA. In commercial LA style, your hair is down, wave, looking gorgeous, very different vibe. So, but Rockettes wants it always pulled back.
Dancers, I don't know if you caught on to that or taking notes, or you just have to watch the replay to get all the specifics, dance style, model number. I'm glad you were very specific about that. But that's good to know because some dancers probably don't know. They just show up unprepared and they realize they're the only one in the room not looking, giving the Rockette look, if you will.
Yes. Wear red lipstick as well. And you can wear eyelashes or not. You don't have to, but if you feel more confident, you can wear eyelashes. But definitely you always want to have your makeup looking great. Like you are going to go on a date with the hottest person ever. That's what I always say, but with a red lip. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Michaela. Next up, we have Serena. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
My name is Serena Wright. I'm 18 years old from a small town in Texas. And I was curious, you say you mentor dancers, and I was curious what one piece of advice you like to give to your dancers is.
Oh, I give so much, but I would say one piece of advice is to get in the best shape of your life, meaning you have to cross train, meaning it's not just taking dance class. It's getting into the gym and or yoga classes and or Pilates classes or Barry's Boot Camp, whatever you have. And if you are just in a small town and you don't have access to a lot of that stuff, you can always take my Fusion Heels class on Zoom. It is one of the best classes, honestly. And I say that with the most love, to get your stamina, your strength, and your flexibility up to par.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Huge fan of cross training. I think it's really important to have a strong body, prevent injuries, sustainability, long-term dance careers. So dancers, use all your tools. They have fitness classes and strength training programs inside the program, and I don't know how many are using them.
Listen, okay. Last thing I'll say, Menina, that's brilliant. I'm so happy that you have that. Thank you for doing that. Because the truth is, like, I'm also a choreographer, so I am putting together a brand new holiday show. I did the Sun Kicks last year. That was awesome. This year, we're not doing any Christmas shows for this Christmas, but next Christmas, we're looking at Las Vegas. I need dancers that are not going to get injured. And if you are not strong and if you are not in the best shape of your life, I will not be able to hire you. And it's nothing personal. It's just that you're going to get injured because the work is so intense and the contract just does not stop. And sometimes you are required to do 10 to 12 to 15. The Rockettes do 17 shows a week.
Wow.
That's double Broadway. And you want to be there for every single show. You want to make your money, right? But also you don't want to miss anything because, again, getting rehired for the next year, you want to show that you can withstand the intensity of that contract.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Serena. Next up, we have Laura Lay. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hello, my name is Laura Bearden. I'm 11 years old from Western Massachusetts. Just so you know, I'm a big fan. My question is, I have a similar path to what you want. Like, I want to go to like a college, like a really good dance team, and I want to become a Rockette. So what should I do starting now to like start putting myself out there?
No, that's great. Well, are you tall?
Yes, I'm very tall for my age.
Okay. Something that young dancers might be interested also, I forgot to tell you, is my precision dance tutorials. So, yes, these are online tutorials where you can learn all of the fundamentals of precision on your own. For a whole year, you can use the tutorials. They are very cost effective. I created these for dancers just like yourself who are basically brand new to the style, but need to know all of the mechanics, all the fundamentals. So there's tutorial 101, which is the beginner tutorial. 102 is a little bit more intermediate. And then 103 is everything kicks. Everything kicks goes in through strut kicks, high kicks, ronde de jambe kicks, piano kicks, all the different styles, and the NFL way whack your face high kick as well. It gives you also all of the stretches and strength training exercises that you can do on your own 5 to 6 days a week. So it's very beneficial. And I have had students who've taken these tutorials and have made it to the end of the audition.
There you go. So start training now. You got some time. That's good. Start young. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Next up, we have Braden. Unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and what is your question?
Hi, I'm Braden Warden. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Dallas, Texas. My question was, do you have any advice for someone who wants to follow your path and do college while attempting to audition and find work and things like that at the same time?
Absolutely. Great question, Braden. Just make sure you're in a major city. So make sure you move to either LA, New York, or Chicago. And again, check out the dance scene in all of those cities, or Las Vegas even. Go to those cities first. See the shows that are there that people audition for, right? Or see if you can connect and network with some of the dancers in those cities. Go to the big studios, go to the Millennium, go to Broadway Dance Center, go to any of the studios and just talk to people. And then get a sense for what styles that city, let's just say, is best known for, right? And I would say choose a school. There's a few options with school. You obviously can go in person and go to a school in that major city. Or you said Texas?
Yes.
Yeah. So here's another idea. You can go to school online and from a Texas school, get in-state tuition and move wherever you want in the world and train. And I actually have several dancers who've done that. Several dancers who, let's say, went to a major college, were like, I am not into all this crazy partying and football. See, I don't care about any of that. I want to dance. I want to audition. I want to work, but I still want to get my degree. So that's what they did is they decided to get their degree online from their home state and move to whatever city they want to audition and work in. And it's been great. They have already have their resume starting to build. They have their work experience, their networking is already accumulating. It's been the best option, honestly. And it's probably the cheapest because you get the in-state tuition. So rather than moving, let's say, to New York and having to pay out-of-state tuition. But, there's lots of options. You guys are all so lucky that you're living in this time because you have so many options at your fingertips. You don't need to go to a conservatory unless you want to. I actually say don't go to a conservatory because it doesn't allow you to audition for any professional work. You are stuck at that conservatory for 4 years or some or 2. You know what I mean? But I think that's not actually very beneficial because you're wasting 4 good years of your working dancer life and you're stuck at school. So I say better to just move to a city and go online to school.
Love that. Thank you so much, Brayden.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Harlow.
Hi, my name is Harlow. I'm 11 years old, and my question for you is, what is the one thing you learned in college that you still use in your dance life today?
Oh my gosh. Okay. When I first came in as a dance major to UCLA, I took ballet class with Rebecca Wright, and she should rest in peace. Rebecca Wright was an ABT soloist with Baryshnikov and Gelsey Kirkland. She would have dinner at Misha and Gelsey's every year. Okay. So she was a major dancer, and she would always tell us in ballet to be a bit more forward from our pelvis, right? So our pelvis had to be more forward than back into our heels. So different than contemporary where your foot is really grounded and your toes in your heels. She said, no, you have to take your pelvis and lift it and move it more forward. So I use that literally every single day. And it has prevented ankle sprains. It has allowed me to dance in character heels for 10 hours a day and so much more. So that's the biggest lesson I learned from college.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harlow.
Thank you.
Jade.
Hello, my name is Jade Robinson. I'm 20 years old. I'm a dancer, model, actress, and voiceover artist. And my question is, what has been your favorite part of your dance journey and why?
Oh, wow. My favorite part? Oh, my goodness. It's so hard to pick out one thing. Several of my favorite parts were cheering for the Lakers at the championship game, and they won the world championship. That was 1. 2, dancing on the Academy Awards. Amazing. 3, dancing at the White House for President Obama. 4, dancing for Susan Stroman in the Producers movie, creating my own whatever dance. It's essentially going to be a company. This is just it's filling my soul so much. I always say to all my students, this is the time to work your hardest. Don't wait. Just don't say, oh, I'll get it tomorrow. No, just take the bull by the horns and take your career and go with it. And you guys are in the right place working with Menina because she will help you to get there. And if you have questions, use her. Literally ask her any question because I'm sure if she doesn't know the answer, she will try to find it for you and she'll find someone who can help you with it. So just go with 1,000% energy for everything that you've got for every audition you go for.
I love that. Thank you so much.
And thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And yes, if I don't have the answer, I will find it or find somebody who does. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Ben.
Hi, my name is Ben Stevens. I'm 11 years old. And my question is, how did you regain your confidence after not getting called back to auditions?
Oh, yes. So I kind of answered this a little bit earlier, but I would just say, well, this job was not for me. God has another plan for me. And I'm just going to think to myself, okay, what was it that they wanted? Oh, okay. They were looking for a dancer who was stronger. They looked for a dancer who had more flexibility. They were looking for a dancer who could, I don't know, do more versatile styles, could do better hip hop than me or whatever. So I should probably just keep going to class and keep focusing on working on my weaknesses, my challenges. And I'm going to go to the next audition with more confidence and just be stronger overall. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ben. All right. Next we have Piper.
Hi, I'm Piper Eastwood. I'm 10 years old. I live in Fairfax, Virginia. And my question for you is, what was the hardest dance you learned as a Rockette? How did you master it?
Oh my gosh, great question. The 12 Days of Christmas. When we first learned it, I was very fortunate to be in the original cast of the 12 Days of Christmas. That piece was 7.5 minutes long. And I was a really strong tapper. Thank you, Moni and others. But I was put front and center my first year. And I had to do 7.5 minutes of choreography and remember every single part. That I practiced that piece every single day that we did the show. And then I practiced it after the show closed because I said, well, if I want to come back and do this show, I should really be super solid in this choreography because, as you know, you sing the 12 Days of Christmas, you sing up and then you sing down, right? And so that's how the dance kind of goes. And it gets very confusing because it's not always the same. So just a ton of practicing.
Thank you so much, Piper.
Thank you.
All right. It looks like our last question is from Kendra.
Hi, my name is Kendra, and I'm 12 years old from California. And I was wondering, if you were a Rockette for 1 year and wanted it to be a Rockette for the next year, did you need an audition again?
Excellent question. So Radio City is very unique in that at the end of the Christmas season, all of the Rockettes are evaluated. And the top 60% of those Rockettes, they get their name on what's called the offer list. So if your name is on the offer list, you do not have to re-audition. You are automatically brought back for the next Christmas if you want to come back for the next Christmas.
Okay.
So I was very fortunate for 12 years that I was always on that list. Now, there are some times that people are never on that list. And talk about challenge. That's really hard because, especially for people who have been in the show for multiple years and their name isn't on the list, so they have to come back. So what I often do as a dance coach is that I will help even current Rockettes who are in the company to prepare their mind and their body to go back in for the audition and to do the best that they can and to hopefully get rebooked for the next Christmas.
Thank you so much, Kendra. All right. Before we wrap up, do you have any final words of advice or any final words you want to share that you didn't get a chance to say? Floor is yours.
Oh, gosh. Last thing. So I just recently taught for Showstopper competition. They have a convention. And I think this is just so funny. Showstoppers was the first competition that I went to when I was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
And back in the day, they gave out the Honorable Mention Award. And my group won the Honorable Mention. Do you kids know what that is? It means you won nothing. It means you won last. And my friends were really upset because they're like, Rhonda, we didn't even get 10th place. There was a 10th place ribbon and we didn't even get that. I said, that's okay. So fast forward 8 more years, when I was 18, I won first overall highest score. I won the top award. If I had let that honorable mention last place award determine how I thought about myself as a dancer, there's no way I would even be talking to you all right now. So I just kept taking one step and putting it in front of the other, asking really good questions in class. Moni could tell you, my hand was always up. I have a question. And if I didn't understand something, I would just ask kindly, can you explain that again? Because I wanted to know it here, not just here in my body. And that's how I've always been as a dancer. I've just always been I need to think through this so I can really understand it. So that's one thing I just want to encourage all of these dancers. Thank you so much for being here, is to keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep asking the good questions and practice and work your absolute hardest. You will never regret a day that you don't work your hardest, where you don't come out of class exhausted, so sweaty, so sore, everything hurts. The next day you can barely walk. Welcome. If you don't like being sore, you're in the wrong profession. Thank you so much.
Good, sore and injured. We don't want to be injured, but we like that workout feeling, that sore muscle, like you worked hard.
Yeah, I'm not talking injury. I'm talking you pushed yourself super hard. That's what you want every single day.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, dancers, let's show her some love, show her how we do it. Thank you so much.
Menina, thank you so much. This is so special. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. So thank you.
No, thank you for sharing your journey. It was a very colorful journey that I felt like we just went on a roller coaster ride. But you know what? That's real life, kids. That's the life of a dancer. It's not linear. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There is heartache. There is rejection. There might be injury. There might be setbacks. There might be world events that happen. There might be transitions. There might be changes of seasons, changes of cities and locations. And then clearly you're still doing it in a different capacity, even as a wife and a mom, which I think we both can attest to that we're both in our maternal stage and our pay it forward stage of life.
Absolutely.
And that is also a beautiful season to be in too. And so fulfilling. So dancers, I hope that your journeys are just as colorful and full of roller coaster ups and downs and around.
And last thing, if you don't mind following me on Instagram.
Yes, please do.
I so appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. @fusion_exercise.
Is it also, if they look up your name, is it also easy to find if they just put in Rhonda Malkin?
Yes. So it's @the Rhonda Malkin. That's like my personal Instagram, but you can follow me there. But really all the stuff for all my workshops is @fusion_exercise. Yeah. So the @fusion_exercise, that's where you can find all the workshops, all the classes. If you're interested in my tutorials, that's a different one. That's @Precision Dance Tutorial. It's a little bit longer, but if you're interested in purchasing those, they're very inexpensive and you can take those whatever tutorials on your own. And you can also send me your learning of your choreography of the different routines that are on those tutorials. You can send me a video of yourself and I will send you feedback, and it's free of charge. It's just part of the program. I just like to, see how people are, understanding the work on their own.
I love that. All right, guys. Thank you for staying on with us. Sorry this went over. Dancers, I hope that you have lots of learning takeaways. Share your gratitude. Send Rhonda a message after you guys are done. Otherwise, signing off. Bye, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.